Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Healing Conversations. My name is Einav with Untangled Healing, and with me today, Sharan Sammi. Hi, Sharan. So lovely to have you here.
Hi, thank you. It's so great to be here. I'm excited.
Me too, me too. So tell us a little bit about you.
Yeah, well, I'm a wife. I'm a mother from the UK. I've got two beautiful earth angels, an 8-year-old daughter, a 5-year-old son. I mention those because they're my highest value. I was in the corporate banking world for 20 years here in the UK in financial markets, which I loved doing what I did with a passion. But then 17 years ago, I started my own personal development journey. And if you're listening out there, my journey started with picking up the book, The Secret, which some of you may have heard of. And for me, it was life changing. And it was basically the start of my personal development journey. And then it came to the point where I just felt like, what is my life purpose? What is my, reason for being here? And I fundamentally thought that it's to do with coaching, it's to do with healing, it's to do with service, like serving the world at a bigger, grander scale. So just before the pandemic in 2020, I came out of banking and to start my training and coaching business. And I'm now a manifesting abundance mentor, intuitive healer, and executive trainer. And I just love empowering my clients to become the best version of themselves, to reach their true greatness where anything is possible, I always say.
Amazing, amazing.
Thank you.
But tell me, manifestation. People hear about it all the time. People say, okay, I'm going to say I want it or I have it. And there's so many different things that people are trying, but what
Yeah.
is the secret? What is the secret to manifestation and what actually?
Yeah, what is it? Okay, people say, well, what is manifesting? Well, we all consciously or unconsciously, we do it. We're always doing it, like every single day. We're all manifestors. Manifest is basically the art or the technique of getting the things that you really want in life. Now, the key thing here is actually getting the things that you want and not getting the things that you don't want. And the key thing here is, where is our focus? What are we thinking? Because our thoughts determine the way that we feel, which then influences the actions that we take, which then determines the end results. So it all comes back down to the power of our thoughts and our internal beliefs. So, for example, if you're thinking, okay, I want to achieve more money, I want to get a promotion, I want to get a pay rise at work, or, I just want more money to come through. But then you're thinking that, but if your belief is, oh, I'm not worthy, I can't possibly get a pay rise, I'm not good enough, who am I to do this? The imposter syndrome, everybody else is so much better than me. There's a total misalignment between your thoughts and your belief. And it's going to affect your energy, your emotions, your feelings. And then it's going to affect the actions that you take. Are they in alignment to what it is that you actually want and desire? So even, for example, if you want to get that pay rise, or you want to get that promotion, but then you're a bit out of alignment because your belief is everybody else is better, there's no way I'm going to get promoted, then there's a misalignment. So even if you do then apply for the job, it's very likely, because you're misaligned with, oh, I want this, but I'm not good enough, but I really want this money to come through, but everybody else is so much better. Can you see the conflict? So because it's the conflict, you're sending mixed messages out to the universe, and then the universe is thinking, well, does she actually want this promotion or not? And then it's going to go with the most dominant, and the most dominant is always your limiting beliefs, because your beliefs have so much power and there's so much intention. Even if you're not consciously aware and it's a subconscious belief, it's still running the show, because everything you do on a conscious level, your conscious mind, is dictated by the subconscious, which is 95% of your pre-programming, your belief system, your memories from childhood, even going back to past lives. So putting it all together, it all affects the way that you manifest. So, for example, if you're a bit misaligned, you want money, but you don't feel you're worthy enough, you're then going to keep getting the bills. You're going to then keep getting whatever it is, fines and, outgoings. It's going to increase. It's going to pile up. Compared to if you're open to receiving the abundance, you're confident in yourself, you're confident in your ability. It doesn't matter if you still get the bills, because, it's about being grateful for the bills. I have enough money to pay the bills, to pay for my gas and electricity, to pay for the internet that allows me to go on social media. Do you know the different, the different reframing on that? And it's all to do with energetics. So, so there's so much to do with manifestation.
But let me just ask another question, because I totally agree with what you're saying, and
Yeah.
but as we're talking about the subconscious blockages and limiting beliefs, they are subconscious. So how do we know that we have them? Is it just by not getting what we want, or
Yeah.
getting the opposite of what we want?
Yeah. Well, it's about, first of all, looking at your life and saying to yourself, am I truly happy where I am right now, doing the things I'm doing in my life, whether it's to do with your work, your business, your health, your wealth, looking at your finances, your relationship with yourself, with your significant other, with your friends, your family, etc. Looking from a position of, how do I feel right now in this moment? And if you feel, okay, I am happy, but I could be happier. Okay, then what is stopping you? And it's having that clarity and that certainty. And then it's feeling into, okay, well, if I was to, for example, say to you, what is your childhood dream? What have you always wanted to be? What's your ultimate desire? If you're working in a job role right now and you feel, actually, I want to start a business, think to yourself, well, what is stopping me? And that will probably uncover a lot of the stuff underneath. It'll be like, oh, I'm not good enough. I don't feel I can do it. I don't have the strengths. I don't have the capabilities. Well, who said you don't? Because you're telling yourself in your own mind, I'm not capable enough to start my own business. Where do I start? I don't know. I'm scared. Am I still going to get my secure income coming in every month? All of these stuff, the thoughts that come into our mind, it's about having that awareness, because we have over 40,000 thoughts in any one day, and at least 80% of our thoughts are repeated thoughts. We think autopilot by default. You're not even consciously aware of your thoughts. It's like it's already pre-programmed, and it's about stopping, having that awareness, and it's literally just taking a moment to just stop and think, what did I just think then? What did I just say to myself then? Like, as an example, for me, just as an example, like, I'm going to do a Facebook Live later on. And sometimes I stop myself and go, okay, where is my energy? What do I think right now in this moment? And sometimes if I think, oh gosh, is anybody going to listen to me? Am I going to be good enough? Is what I'm saying going to be like received the other end? And, people want to listen to it, etc. And so then I stop, because it's the wrong energy of going live. So I literally sometimes get a pen and paper, and this is one thing that you could do, get a pen and paper in that moment and just write down, what are the things that you're thinking? So if you're thinking, okay, I'm not good enough, well, where's that come from? What is the evidence that you're not good enough? Who said you're not good enough? And this work really, if you expand it, clients that I've worked with, especially on the healing side, I take them through a process which includes going to a theta brainwave, which is the brainwave of when you're half asleep and half awake. And that brainwave accessing the subconscious, it accesses the subconscious mind at a deep level. And then it's going through hypnosis and using various techniques such as NLP, which is neuro-linguistic programming, or timeline therapy, deep hypnosis, where we uncover at the deep level, why am I unworthy? Why do I not feel confident? Why do I not feel good enough? Because on the surface, conscious level, if you feel you're not good enough, well, why? And a recent example of when I took a client through this in one of my healing sessions was not good enough because it came to when she was about 2 years old. And there was a particular memory that she held with her mom and her sibling. And I think her mom had favored her sibling over something that was taking place, and basically ignored my client as being a 2-year-old. And what's happened is that 2-year-old actually looked at that situation that was going on and made the assessment and judgment, oh, my sister's better than me. I'm not good enough. I have to, do things extra to get the attention of my parent. I don't feel worthy enough. And it comes to that one decision that you made in history, in one moment, click of a finger, that you then decided, actually, every other experience, it brings you back to that memory of when you were 2-year-old and thinking, I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. So when you take it back, and we go back to the inner child, I call it there, and you heal that trauma. Okay, I say trauma because trauma can be emotional, mental, physical, spiritual, psychological, and you heal that aspect, and we remove the shock, the pain, and the trauma, and then we embed the new empowering beliefs that actually, I am good enough, I am worthy, I am capable, I am confident, I can do this. And it's that reprogramming. And when the reprogramming takes place, that's when transformation happens. Yeah. But in answer to your question, first of all, is just acknowledge, what do I think right now in this moment? So even if you're at work and you're about to start a meeting, how do I feel right now? Do you feel nervous? Do you feel anxious? Do you feel excited? And just really play with it and just go deeper. Like, what am I thinking right now in this moment? I've got to make this important phone call, to a supplier or a client at work or in business. What am I thinking? And go with that. And if it's negative or if it's disempowering, just question yourself, well, where is that coming from? Who said I'm not capable? Who said I'm not confident? And if it's the reverse and it's positive, well, that's great. Yeah.
Absolutely. And okay, so now we're saying, right, so we've acknowledged that maybe there's some limiting beliefs or some blockages like that. Now we say, okay, now I want to manifest something. How do we do this?
Okay. So when first of all, you acknowledge what it is that you want. Okay. And now I'm going to open up the treasure chest and I'm going to say money. Okay. Because it's either money or it's love that most people want. So if I open up the treasure chest and say money, okay. So if it's money, okay. First of all, it's about making sure you actually believe that you're worthy, because knowing it, first of all, is great. But then having that belief that, I am open to receiving an immense amount of money right now with ease in the safest way possible. And that could be a mantra, actually. I'll give you a mantra as a side note. I am a money magnet. Money flows quickly, easily, and safely to me right now. When you say that mantra, just notice what you're thinking. If you think, oh, yeah, right, I don't believe that, you're in conflict. Or if you think, yeah, actually, I believe that can happen. I'm excited. And then it's about raising your energetic vibration, because you've got to be in a match with what it is that you want. Coming back to your thoughts and beliefs. So this is kind of like making sure that you're in harmony with what it is that you want. So if you want the money, get in alignment with it, get excited about it, think about it, believe that it's going to happen, believe that you can have that pay rise. But then it's not just about believing in it and having that wishful thinking, oh, it's going to happen, it's going to land out of the sky, which you could do. But you've then got to take some action, haven't you? So if you're listening out there and you're working, okay, it could be that if you feel that actually you deserve a pay rise, or, you want to go for a promotion, start planting the seeds. Does your manager know that you want to get promoted? Are you actively looking, for internal vacancies or looking for other jobs? Are you actually taking the action? And if you've got a business out there, are you doing the right actions to get the clients? Like, for example, if you're on social media, are you talking about the work that you do? Are you offering, sessions and telling people how they can actually, get a session with you and where to pay? It's about the actions, because although you're saying to the universe, yeah, I want more clients in my business or at work, and you're feeling excited about it. Okay, but if nobody knows you because you're the best kept secret and you're not promoting yourself, or nobody knows that you're a coach or whatever it is that you're doing, or, whatever the job is, if nobody knows about you, then how are people going to then buy from you? Whether you've got a product-based business or you're offering a service or you're employed, how are people going to buy the products and services? So it is about taking the action. But then it comes back down to, as well, in terms of the manifesting process, taking the action, noticing your thoughts. Oh, I'm not confident to put a post out on social media because what are people going to think of me? Notice what your thoughts are, because you could be sabotaging yourself. And that's where looking at your limiting beliefs, the things that are stopping you. And then it's about working through those limiting beliefs. And I gave you an example before about clients that I work with, and I help them with that. But it could be as simple as just reframing. So turning that negative, oh, I'm not worthy, I'm not confident, I'm scared, turning it and reframing it into a positive affirmation. Like, I can do this. My words are going to be heard for the people that need to hear my words, and they're going to come invest in me and become my client. Just reframing and then being open to receiving. Just expect it's going to happen. Don't doubt it. But one of the things I want to mention as well is, it's like people say, I want to get promoted or I want to get this money. And then And then they do all the actions, like, they apply for the job and everything else. And then instantly they say to themselves, oh, it hasn't happened yet. It hasn't happened yet. I've not heard anything about that job yet. I've not been offered a pay rise. That client's not paying me. It's not happened. It's not happened. It's not happened. But be conscious of what you're focusing on, because if you're saying it's not happened, it's not going to happen. Nobody's doing this. Nobody's doing that. Oh, I'm not going to have the money. It's not happening. Look at my bank account. I'm going overdrawn. You're focusing on the negative. And because you're focusing on the negative, what you think about, you bring about, which is like law of attraction. Like attracts like. So if you're putting that energy out there, it's not going to happen. When am I going to get a pay rise? I've applied for that job, but nothing's come through. I haven't got an interview yet. What's going on? You're in that doubt. You're in that negative energy, and it's all about energetics. So you have to reframe and get yourself out of that energy into a higher energy. And you're probably wondering, how do I get into a higher energy? One technique. Can I share one technique with you?
Absolutely.
Okay. One simple technique, which was life-changing for me 17 years ago when I started my personal development journey, is the attitude of gratitude. Now, you've probably heard this if you're listening out there. You're probably thinking, oh, I know all about gratitude, but do you practice it on a daily basis? Because it's something so easy to do, but it's also so easy not to do. And a simple thing is saying to yourself each and every day, and I've actually got a gratitude challenge running in my group called Anything is Possible, but it's simply saying, I am so happy and grateful today for, and then naming 5 things. I am so happy and grateful today for my bottle of water because it hydrates me. And my body's made up of around about 80% of water. I'm so happy and grateful for my hand cream. I'm so happy and grateful. I'm so happy and grateful for my pen because I can write and I can journal and I can express my inner thoughts and I can reframe them. So it's not just about stating, I'm so happy and grateful for my pen. Feel the emotion, because that's what's going to change the energy. And when you're expressing gratitude, you're putting yourself into that state of thanks and appreciation, into that positive vibe. You're raising your vibration levels, which influences your brain chemicals, your oxytocin, your noradrenaline, your serotonin, which are your happy chemicals, and you're feeling better. And what that means is, because you're resonating at a higher vibration, you are then going to attract everything that's in the same vibrational energy as you. So, for example, if you want that pay rise, get into that high vibe. This is coming, but detach from the outcome. So you're not constantly thinking, it's not happened yet. I've applied for that job. Why haven't I heard anything? Why isn't that client paying me? Detach from the outcome. Just have that inner faith that it's going to happen. Focus on your energy, and gratitude is great to focus on your energy. Take the action and just welcome it. And then when it comes in, celebrate. That's the key thing. You've got to celebrate, keeping that vibration, because as humans, we're always then thinking, what's the next thing I can manifest? What's the next thing I can manifest? And this works because I've manifested like a brand new car, getting an acting TV agent without any acting experience, and landing a permanent role on a top UK TV soap with no acting experience. I've had multiple pay rises when I was in corporate banking world, 100% pay rises, 50% bonuses, and it's all about manifesting, but manifesting in the right way and using the energetics.
Lovely. And so tell me a story of one of your clients that manifested something that was so out of the, what could ever have happened, without the manifestation.
Yeah. Okay. So I think of one particular client that I worked with. She came to me because I always believe that people come to me at just the right moment when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And my client came to me. She had low self-worth, very low self-confidence, very low self-love. She literally was like 0 out of 10 for self-love. Yet she wanted more money in her life. She wanted to work less. Her relationship with her husband was like they're ships in the night. They pass each other. And they had a little son. And, she hardly spent any time with him because she was working, feeling burnout, feeling like she had to work more in corporate, long hours to be recognized, to then get a promotion, to get more money. but it wasn't working because it was affecting her whole, inner self-worth, her confidence, her self-love was flat on the floor. So we did some inner work in terms of, what's this lack of confidence? Where is it coming from? Where's the hidden trauma? And there was a lot of stuff to do with her past, to do with her parents, to do with her siblings, to do with some work colleagues. There was a lot of stuff, even past life stuff, where there was running contracts in place that were stopping her to become confident, to achieve the things that she wanted to achieve. Then between session 2 and session 3, because we worked on those limiting beliefs, and actually then she had the certainty and the clarity, actually, I want to get a pay rise, either in this job, like getting a promotion, or I'm happy to leave the company and literally go to another organization. And at the start, she had no confidence. She was in fear. Oh, I can't move anywhere else. I'm not going to be worthy, to start again. And yet in between session 2 and session 3, she then took the action. Because like I mentioned, in manifesting, you've got to take the action. She applied for jobs, and she's never done that in the last 10 years because she's always been stuck in that one job, same salary. So other people were coming in the organization on the same level, and they were progressing higher than her within 1 or 2 years. And she was saying to me, Sharan, why can't I progress? People younger than me with less qualifications are coming in, less experience, and they're getting pay rises. Why aren't I getting pay rise? And I said, it's looking at your energy, your limiting beliefs. Do you feel you're worthy? So between session 2 and 3, she applied for jobs. And this is the result here, because this is the power of healing your limiting beliefs and working on your confidence and your energy. She applied for jobs. She got 4 interviews, of which she got accepted for 2 jobs. She then went for the 1 job, and she literally said, I would like to have this much more money as a salary, as an income. And they said to her, I'm really sorry to say to you, but I know that you've told us what you want in terms of your salary package, but we believe that you should be paid 40% more than that based on your experience and your capabilities. So we want to actually pay you more. Would that be okay with you? She was like over the moon. She was like, yes. And the reason is because she detached from the outcome. She knew that she wanted more money. She knew that she needed to sort out her working hours, her lifestyle. So, she applied for the job, she took action, and then she got that position. And because she got that position, it meant that she worked less hours. She wasn't traveling into central London all the time. She could work from home. And this was during the COVID time. Coming out of COVID, when offices were now open, so she could go into the offices, but she had the flexibility to work from home. Her relationship with her husband was a lot better because she felt more self-worth. She felt more self-confidence, self-love for herself, which is high vibe energy. So she got the pay rise, the 40% that she wasn't initially expecting, but she just wanted more money. Her relationship with her son was better. Her relationship with herself and her husband. She's got the time to then go to the gym, and her social life. So it doesn't just affect money, one area of your life. It affects all areas of your life. So it comes down to, first of all, knowing what you want and then working through the limitations. And it doesn't have to take a great deal of time. With this one client, it literally took between 2 and 3 sessions. And we had 4 sessions in total, theta intuitive healing sessions. And afterwards, I said to her, how are you today? She's like, I'm amazing. I feel incredible. My life is amazing. And she couldn't thank me enough, but she did the work. She, we uncovered the limiting beliefs. She transformed. And as a result, she's so happy in her life. And that's what I love, to help people, discover, that inner self. What is it that they want and what's stopping them?
Amazing. And Sharan, we're just coming to the end of our time together. Any last sentence, a message for people listening?
Okay, I'm going to give you a mantra. Okay, a mantra. It's 6 words, and it's I can, I will, I am. Okay, now that's so powerful because you're saying to the world, the universe, I can, I will, and I am. And being in that energy will really help change from the negative to the positive. And also then feeling into your energy. How do I feel today? and doing things, self-care that's going to make you feel happier, whether it's, you have a cup of tea, whether it's you go for a walk in the park or you go shopping, or, whatever it is. Do some little things for yourself each and every day, because self-care is so important to self-love and to manifest as well. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Sharon,
You're
for being here
welcome.
today and for sharing your wisdom with us. Thank you. Thank you very much for being here
You're
with me today.
welcome. You're welcome. Thank you so much.